All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Alex from My For Attraction, and today we're going to be reviewing Andrew Tate. The truth is that I've only seen highlights of Andrew Tate. I don't watch other dating coaches simply because I get, I don't want to. I just create my own content, so I don't watch other dating coaches. But I've been getting a lot of people asking me to review Andrew Tate. I have my expectations, what I think, but again, what the media says about people usually isn't what it is. So let's all watch what he has to say. He's talking about him, about what his role is as a man in terms of protecting women. So let's see what he has to say, and I'm gonna give you guys my take, and you guys let me know what you guys think of my review, okay? And by the way, we're having 40%, no, 20% off all of my courses, and my coaching things, 20% off. Click on the description down below to get a discount on all of my services and courses that I have. And yeah, and join our Patreon so that you guys can ask one question. Right now, if you join the $5 club, just this month, you guys can ask one question. If you become part of the $5 club on my Patreon, and I'll answer your question, it saves you a lot of money. It's possibly saving you around like 60, $70. So just join, ask your question, cancel, boom, boom, no hard feelings, okay? All right, let's begin this.
80-year-olds. Yeah. I think it's wide. You said 18 to 25-year-old men. Women, too. Yeah. I think it would be amazingly interesting if you sat down with a room of 80-year-olds. Yeah. 80-year-old men and women. And you know what these people are called in America? They're older than baby boomers. You know what they're called, that generation? No, tell me. Traditionalists. Oh, there you go. Okay? I'd be very curious to know what old people would have to say about Tate. I doubt that any of the older women or the older men would try to be canceling Tate to be like, yeah, that's but everything we've ever known.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much saying that Andrew Tate. Well, again, let's just keep watching.
But this is the thing that's interesting because the feminist narrative, when I say things like the male pilot, for example, the feminist narrative is that I'm a controlling man who wants control over women. The actual truth is I'm a protective man who wants to protect. And being a man in a position of protecting is not always a good thing. I feel indebted and have a duty to myself and my honor, meaning that if I'm walking down the street with a beautiful woman and 3 men want to attack her, I have to risk my life now. I can't live my life letting my wife get gang raped on a fucking street.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, because if you don't do nothing, you be looked like as a bitch. And I can promise you, if a man doesn't protect his woman, that woman is not going to respect him. I don't care how feminist that woman is. If a masculine ass woman is with another man and she thinks he's a bitch and she controls him and she's his and he's her gimp, and a guy comes up threatening them and he doesn't defend her, even if she has the masculine role, I can promise you that woman, something inside of her ancestors will say, bitch, you're wrong. Her ancestors will say, yo, what the hell? I know you're the man in this relationship, but that dude couldn't even protect you. She will feel a loss of attraction for that guy, right? Honestly, I think that's the most undeniable biological thing. It's the judgment that we have for men who don't protect their women. Imagine that, right? Just imagine that. That will blow my mind. A man who does not want to protect his woman because he's afraid. If you can't protect her, then don't be with her. And the same thing with a woman. She'll say, hey, look, man, if you can't protect me from a guy trying to touch me, then I don't know why the hell I'm with you. So I kind of agree with that one.
Can't take it as a man. So I have to now die. I have to die or try. I have no choice. So, but that's my duty. But they'll ignore that part. They'll ignore the part where I risk my life, right? And they'll say, oh, but you just want to be controlling, misogynistic. No. I have a duty to protect. I'm calmer under pressure because I've been in more unfortunate situations. I've had more trauma in my life, which has trained me to be more calm under pressure. I would hate to meet a woman who's been through as much trauma as I have. That's not the kind of...
Well, it's almost like female prisons versus male prisons. I mean, look, ladies, like, male prisons is a fucking nightmare compared to female prison. Like in a female prison, you're not as afraid for your life. Now, female prisoners get raped a lot by the guards, but it's kind of like it's just in terms of like the level of violence and abuse, it doesn't compare to the male prison, And that's the price you pay, I suppose. I mean, you know, like that's, I don't know.
That wouldn't make her a good woman. I don't think women need trauma at that level. I don't want women who've been stabbed. There's no need for that. But I have been through it. So I think that in my experience, extrapolation, that men who are successful, a lot of them have been through enough for me to trust them more in a high pressure situation. And like I said, this comes with massive responsibility. This comes with massive detriments and downsides, right? And the feminists are like, no, you're controlling. It's not about controlling. It's about duty. There was no feminist on the Titanic. Then men can die. There's no feminists to this day in Ukraine. The Ukrainian women can leave. You'll see them partying in Warsaw and Prague.
Yeah, they even say all the women and children, right? And this is because at the end of the day, when it comes to surviving, we get down to the biological. Fuck the men, women and children, because without them, we can't continue to populate. Because a woman has fewer eggs, only has one egg, right? And I think the thing about him is that he fits a stereotype. He fits the stereotypical asshole that literally, like, if you imagine what a fuckboy looks like, I'm not even kidding with you. Like, when you imagine what a fuckboy looks like, you imagine him. It's like imagining what Jesus looks like. Everyone imagines the same person. This is literally like the walking Messiah for fuckboys. But what I'm hearing right now is a guy with traditional values that wants to protect his woman at the exchange of his woman protecting his kids and nurturing his kids. It's almost like a symbiotic transactional relationship. And I feel like the world where we're in today they're uncomfortable with that type of mindset because it reminds them of the time when women had no choice but to do that. I don't know what the solution is for that because I completely understand his point of view.
Ukrainian men can't leave the country. They're dying in a ditch. They have to stay and fight. Not a single feminist is demanding that the women stay and fight. Not a single one. They don't give a fuck when it turns real. Once it turns hot, then it's woohoo, straight to, what do you want, a sandwich? Sure.
Yeah, it's like the Bill Burr skit where he was like, there's no feminists in the wildfire. There's no feminists in the fire where they say women and children first. And then he says, all of a sudden, now feminists will put on a pigtail and start acting like a little girl. And it's kind of like, well, people, this is the only reason why feminists are the way they are is because the times are good now. Like, times are good. I can promise you. And I don't even blame them. It's just biological. If things in the United States get really tough to the point where, God forbid, we become like a third world country, like, you know, or we become like, I don't know, like my country, Dominican Republic or Mexico, the women all of a sudden will change their strategies because now they're going to need men more, right? We live in an affluent society. Women don't need men, right? And so because of that, their psychology has adapted because they don't need it. And to even insinuate that to some women, it's almost like it calls back the trauma from all of their ancestors of being oppressed. But the truth is that this is a symbiotic relationship that we as humans have been engaging in for millions of years, and it worked, right? So let's see.
Well, what do you understand, sir? What do you need? Then it all goes back. The closer you are to the real world, the closer people instantly get into their gender roles, because otherwise they get annihilated in real time.
Yeah, exactly. The closer we are to the real world, the closer we get to our gender roles. That is so true because think about it, right? If everything is fine right now and women can act and take on the roles of men, then that's totally fine. But when things get real, when war breaks down, it gets fucking sexist. Women and children get inside, men get outside and risk your life and fight. All the men get drafted, women stay home and watch for the kids. It gets real animalistic when there's these types of problems, which we can have a good point of view, a positive point of view, and say this just means how good the times are right now. That we're just arguing about this. This is like, it's kind of funny, but you could easily, well, I don't know. This is good to argue about that.
That's another thing I said when I was getting called misogynistic and I was arguing with feminists. I said, traditionally, men are the leaders. And in ancient societies, men were in charge. That's because men are oppressive. You've oppressed us forever. That's their narrative. Their narrative is that we've oppressed women forever. I said, no. We've protected and provided for you forever.
Well, no, men in religion have oppressed women, and that's a fact. I mean, If women would oppress us, they would, and they don't. They don't because they can't, right? But give any victim power, and they'll become the victimizer. That's just how it works.
The reason we are leaders is because if we align with our gender roles, a man's more likely to lead, and that gives us a more competitive chance. In the olden world, where all the empires were currently fighting, if you're not as competitive as possible, you're going to be annihilated. I would argue that perhaps there were some civilizations where women were in charge, but we don't know who they are, and we can't discuss their history because they were fucking annihilated in real time by the ones where the men were in charge, because you are hyper competitive. You're at your optimum.
That is very true. You only remember the victors, and usually we only remember the men. I don't know, man. I mean, people are like, is Father Alex fucking agreeing with a motherfucker? I cannot believe Father Alex is agreeing with them. Gotta watch another video. I'll watch another video after this.
When men are in charge, that's just the optimum of the gender roles. That's the way it works. I don't believe we've been oppressing you since the dawn of human time. I disagree. I believe we've been working hard, protecting, providing for you. If men were truly oppressive to women, why don't we send the women to war? Women on women, it's fair, right? We can send all the women to war in Ukraine, all the women to war in Russia. They can die, and we can sit and we can chill, and we can go to Warsaw and drink vodka. We don't do that. The men of Ukraine and the men of Russia are dying to protect their women.
That is true. I mean, this is the thing, is that if you want protection, you got to lose something, right? Nowadays, women don't need protection from men. They really don't. But if things get bad, yes. If things get bad, the reason why women will need protection from men, because one, if things get bad, the men need the women to protect the family so that they can go off and fight. A man who doesn't have a woman to watch over his kids cannot fight. It's kind of like, it's like, we can't like look at this as like fuck women, you gotta keep us down. We gotta look at it as like as an evolutionary role that we've adapted to because it's worked in the past. This works. This is the most optimal way according to natural selection. And natural selection is the ultimate genius. It's geniusness, you know?
And then they want to sit and say that we're bad. It's a completely skewed worldview. Whenever they come along and say that we're oppressive and that we have the most money and all this bullshit, it's a lie. We are going out of our way and giving up our lives to protect and provide. And this is where it comes to some of the other things that they said against me. I've said a man has a degree of authority over something he has responsibility for. They took this and
and that's the thing, right? It's very similar to parents, right? Where a parent is responsible for his or her child's safety. And because of that, it comes with some responsibility. But let's see what he has to say first. You may not jump to conclusion to see what he's about to say.
Said that I think that men have authority over women. Not what I said. I said if I have responsibility for something, I must have a degree of authority over that thing. If I have a car, for it to be parked in the wrong place or for me to drive too fast, whatever, for me to be responsible for the actions of that car, it must be my car. If it's parked in the wrong place, but it's not mine and I'm not allowed to drive it, then I'm...
Yeah, and that's where the men have to not abuse their power. Because a woman is dependent on you. And some men do abuse that power. That's the issue. You know, that the woman, you know, gives in to him as a contract. When I say give in, I mean this, is that you give up your authority to your boss because he pays you. So you do what your boss says because he provides something for you. If a man provides protection according to him, then he should have some form of authority. But what I say is that you have to make sure that you don't let that power get to you, because that's what's happened. Well, that's why the people who kill women the most are their partners. So it's kind of like it's the man's responsibility not to abuse that power.
Then I'm not held accountable. For me to be accountable, I have to have responsibility. By extension, that gives me a degree of authority. So what I was saying is, if a woman comes to me and lives with me and I pay the bills and she travels the world with me and she flies on jets and we go to boats and she's taken care of, I'm responsible for her safety if we walk the street at night. I ensure her life is in perfect order. I have a degree of authority where I can say, you're not going to go out at night by yourself. It's dangerous. Or we're not going to go to this country right now. It's dangerous.
And I think that's reasonable. Where your woman says, let's go out. And I'm like, yo, no. Just like if I go with my parents when I was like, when I visit my family in Dominican Republic, they tell me don't go outside at night. And I'm like, why? Because it's dangerous. And I'm like, but I want to. But they say, don't. Like, if you're staying with us, you can't go outside. So I do that, right? But this is the thing is that I understand what he's saying could easily be misconstrued as very sexist because guys abuse that power. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys ever want to learn how to use your feminine energy to influence people, learn how to use your masculine energy to become more assertive, and also learn how to blend both energies to improve your dating life, your spiritual life, honestly, your relationship life, your family life, your career life, this is the course for you. If I had to make a course for my nieces, I have two nieces, one is 19 and one is 15. 16. Holy shit. Oh my God, he's a bad fucking uncle. He's a bad uncle. Get him. Shut up, Melissa. You should get this course, right? And this is the course that I will make for them. So, for example, watch the curriculum, right? In the first week, we're going to be showing you how to establish a strong masculine foundation without letting it hurt your feminine energy. This masculine foundation is a source of who you are, right? It's your bodyguard. Without this, whatever feminine energy you create will be destroyed by the outside because your masculine is your shield. So we'll talk about goal setting. We'll talk about how to develop a serious attitude. We're gonna be talking about how to use more logic, how to use more goal-oriented behavior. It's more how to be a man, Now the next one is how to embrace the feminine energy, right? This one will teach you about how to minimize excessive masculine traits, developing self-awareness, healing abundant feminine energy, regulating your emotion, mastering voice qualities and facial expressions, surrendering control and allowing pain to be felt. This is honestly, this will supercharge, like Kaioken, your masculine energy. After that, we have femininity in the workplace and how to be feminine in the workplace without letting people take advantage of you, and the nuances of how women on power should behave versus women who are subordinates in the workplace, and even the dress code. This is based on psychology, people. It's kind of insane. I'm actually excited about this one. The next week, we talk about navigating the labyrinth of male and female friendship. And this, a lot of women find confusing, so we talk about that. And how to identify envious friends, how to identify the good friends, how to keep male friends, and how to keep female friends. Week 5, we talk about how to release the burden of the past and stop and destroy mental projections. This is actually really powerful. And then week 6, we talk about how to increase your observational power so that you could read people better. And we have a bunch of bonuses. The course starts at $99, and you guys can pre-order the course today at $69 before it goes out. If you're watching this, most likely I'm in the meditation retreat, so I will be praying for all of you guys. And just click on the description down below of the video. Right there, you'll see it, and you could pre-order that course. It's gonna be out by the end of next month or the beginning of February of March. One of the two, people, because I have a 10-day retreat to do, and I want to finish the course after the retreat because I think the ideas are gonna be so much better. All right, man. I'll see you guys later. Pre-order, man. I'm closing the channel.